that is a sequence of thought moments in what we think to be very simple experience, seeing things or hearing things and so on. Now, what is relevant among these moments are two here. Two moments. Turning to the object and receiving. The sequence is turning to the object, seeing it and receiving it, right? So seeing has been taken by eye consciousness, element of eye consciousness, that is seeing consciousness, right? So the turning consciousness, turning moment of consciousness, that is called turning consciousness, and receiving consciousness. These two are called element of mind. So when we say element of mind, we mean one of these two kinds of consciousness, turning to the object or receiving the object. So turning consciousness is only one type, but receiving consciousness is two types, because one for good objects, desirable objects, and one for undesirable objects. So altogether there are three types of consciousness which are called mind element. And the rest types of consciousness are called element of mind consciousness. So mind consciousness means the rest. Now, how many types? There are 89, let's say, there are 89 types of consciousness, right? 89 or 121, let us just take 89. So there are 89 types of consciousness. How many are called element of mind consciousness?
86. 86.
86?
Oh, no.
Minus 3.
3.
No, the rest mind consciousness 7. You said 89 or you said?
Yeah.
89
Out
minus
of
3.
Take away 10.
Right.
Oh, that's 76.
76, right. So you have to take away
Mind consciousness
10 plus 3, 13 types of consciousness.
13 minus.
Seeing consciousness 2,
Minus
hearing consciousness 2, and so on, right?
So 76.
So 89 minus 13
equal 76.
76. So the remaining 76 types of consciousness are called element of mind consciousness. So now you'll see that these 7 elements, element of eye consciousness and so on until element of mind consciousness, are included in only one mind base, right? Or one mind base is divided into 7 mind elements, right?
I didn't follow
My base.
okay.
Mind base means 89 types of consciousness.
Right.
So the 7 elements are included in mind base. And that mind base is the same as aggregate of consciousness, right?
I lost my concentration at the beginning, that's why I couldn't follow.
Now, eye consciousness and element of eye consciousness and so on, right? So there are seven elements there: eye consciousness, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind consciousness.
Yeah.
So these 7 are actually the same as mind base, right?
Right.
Yeah, and mind base is the same as the aggregate of consciousness. So one mind or consciousness is called consciousness in the teaching of aggregates, but it is called in Pali it is called mana in the teachings of bases, and in the teachings of elements it is called Achakku Vinyana, Sota Vinyana, Ghana Vinyana, Jiva Vinyana, Kaya Vinyana, Mano Dhatu, and Mano Vinyana. So one mind has different names. One and the same thing is called Vinyana in the teaching of aggregates, Mana in the teachings of sense base, and then different Chakku Vinyana and so on in the teaching of elements. The last one, 18. Dhamma objects, element of Dhamma objects. It is the same as number 12 of the sense basis. So mental factors, subtle Rupa, and Nibbana. These three are called Dhamma object base there, and here element of Dhamma objects. So now you see the teaching of aggregate is very brief, right? And then teaching of sense bases is a little in more detail, and the teaching of 18 elements is widest. Now, if you see, look at the 18 elements, you'll find there are three groups: 1 to 5, 6 to 10, and then 11 to 18. Now, let's look at from 1 to 15. Now they correspond to each other, right? I element, visible object, I consciousness. They constitute one group, right? Element of I, visible object, I consciousness. So the same, similarly, element of ear, sound, ear consciousness, and so on. So now you see that whenever we see something or we hear something, there are these three that come together. Without these three, there can be no seeing or no hearing or whatever. So in order for the seeing consciousness, I consciousness here, in order for the seeing consciousness to arise, there must be the I. You must have the I to see. And there must be something to be seen. So that something to be seen, when this something to be seen comes into the avenue of the I, or we say that strikes the I, then consciousness, seeing consciousness arises. You follow? So there are three things when we see: the I, the visible object, and seeing consciousness. So seeing consciousness is said to depend on the I, because if there is no I, there can be no seeing. But the I consciousness or seeing consciousness is not stored in the I. It just arises. It just comes into being when these two meet together. The I and the visible object meet together, then like a spark, say it comes up. So we cannot say I consciousness is stored in the I or in the visible object, but when these two come together, it just comes up. Like when you strike a match, you cannot say the fire is stored in the match, but if it is stored in the match, it will burn the match. But when you strike these two together, then you get the fire. So similarly, I consciousness arises when these two conditions meet together. So there is no one place where the consciousness is stored, but just when there are conditions, it comes up. And among the 12 sense bases, the first 6 are called internal, and the others are called external. But it does not mean that the number 7 to number 12 are found externally only. It does not mean that, because they can be found in living beings also. But the first 6 are found in living beings only. That's why they are called internal, and the others called external. Now let me ask you, how many aggregates can you find in yourself? How many aggregates can you find in yourself?
5.
All 5. Okay. How many bases?
5.
12.
6.
6.
At least 6.
7. Dhamma object.
Okay, let us check one by one.
12.
So we'll check one by one, right? Now eye base. Do you have eye base?
Yes.
Yes. Ear base?
Yes.
Nose base?
Yes.
Tongue base?
Yes.
Body base?
Yes.
Mind base?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have visible object base?
Yes.
Huh? Yes, you can see yourself, right? So yes. Sound base?
Yes.
Oh yes, I'm talking and you are saying yes and I'm asking you. So there is sound of voice. Then odor base, you smell yourself. And taste base, yes. Touch base,
Yes.
oh, all then. What about Dhamma object base?
Yes.
Part of it,
Except
right?
Nirvana.
Except Nirvana, right? So
Free will.
so we find all 12 sense bases in ourselves or in living beings, right? Yeah. So we are a bundle of 5 aggregates or 12 bases. Now let's go to the 18 elements. Now let's go to the 18 elements. Element of eye, yes or no?
Yes.
Element of ear,
Yes.
nose,
Yes.
tongue,
Yes.
body,
Yes.
visible object,
Yes.
sound,
Yes.
odor,
Yes.
taste,
Yes.
touch.
Yes.
Eye consciousness,
Yes.
yes, if we are not blind. Ear consciousness,
Yes.
if we are not deaf. Nose consciousness,
Yes.
yeah. Tongue consciousness,
Yes.
body consciousness,
Yes.
Element of mind, yes. Element of mind consciousness, yes. Element of Dhamma objects,
Yes.
part of it.
Part of it.
Yes. So
We have all.
we have all 18 elements in ourselves, right? Very good. So we are a bundle of 5 aggregates, 12 bases, 18 elements.
We have all.
That is all living beings. Now, don't look at the chart. I'll ask you one thing. Right? So you see something. So there is seeing consciousness. What aggregate does it belong to?
Rupa.
No, Vijnana.
Seeing consciousness.
Vijnana.
Mind. The fifth aggregate.
Fifth aggregate.
Aggregate of consciousness. What base?
I base.
I do.
My base.
My base.
Mind base. Number 6. Right? Mind base. And then what element?
Element is my Mano.
No, not mano.
Element of visible object.
Hmm?
Visible object.
No, we are talking about eye consciousness, right? Seeing consciousness.
My consciousness.
No.
My consciousness.
Look at the chart. What do you find?
Element of mind.
No,
Eye consciousness.
element of eye consciousness.
Element of mind.
Element of mind is the three types of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Turning, accepting,
This
and here seeing.
see on mind consciousness.
So it is element of eye consciousness. Element of eye consciousness number 11. Right? Yes. Then next one. It's easy now. So just for an exercise, let's go to the next one. Say, I'm talking and he's translating and you are hearing. So what consciousness is there in your minds?
Hearing.
Hearing consciousness. So what aggregate?
Mind consciousness.
Consciousness.
Aggregate of consciousness.
Yes.
What base?
My
Mind base. What element?
Hearing.
Element of ear consciousness.
Yes.
Right.
Now we got it.
Now you got it, huh? Okay. Now I'll give you a more difficult question. Say you are angry. So your mind is accompanied by anger. Your consciousness is angry. So what aggregate?
Feeling.
Mind
The fifth aggregate of consciousness. What base?
My base.
Mind base, yes. And what element?
Mind.
My element of mind.
Mind consciousness. Element of mind consciousness. Right?
Yes.
Element of mind consciousness. Then let us pick up just the anger. Huh? Anger, not consciousness accompanied by anger, but just anger. So what aggregate?
Feeling. Aggregate feeling.
Okay, feel.
Do you agree?
Yeah, feeling.
Feeling.
Aggregate feeling.
No.
No.
My
Consciousness.
consciousness.
What is anger?
It's a consciousness. It's a feeling.
No. What is anger among the 52 Chaitasikas? Dosa. What is dosa? It is not feeling.
It's a consciousness.
Yeah?
That is mental formation.
Right.
Mental formation.
Yeah. If you don't know the 52 mental factors, you cannot answer this question. Huh? So, dosa or anger belongs to
Dhamma.
the fourth aggregate, aggregate of mental formations. Now, feeling belongs to the aggregate of feeling. Perception is aggregate of perception, and the other mental factors belong to aggregate of mental formations. So, when you are angry, there is consciousness accompanied by anger. Consciousness itself is the fifth aggregate, but anger belongs to the fourth aggregate, aggregate of mental formations. And what about the base? What base? Yeah, Dhamma. Dhamma object base, because, right?
Yeah.
Dhamma object base consists of 52 Chaitasikas, Sattva, Rupa and Nirvana, right? And then what about elements? Same, Dhamma, element of Dhamma objects, right? Now you can mostly identify, right? Okay, now you go to a restaurant and you order the food you like best and you eat that food. What consciousness do you have?
Taste.
You like it, eh? You like it.
Mind.
Oh, you like it.
Yeah,
Mind.
no, what kind of consciousness? Angry or are you attached to it?
Attached.
Yeah,
Attached.
So there is attachment, right?
Yeah.
So when you eat it with, say, relish, if you like it and you eat it much, and you have consciousness accompanied by attachment, right? So that consciousness belongs to what aggregate? The fifth aggregate, consciousness, consciousness itself, fifth aggregate. And to what base?
Mind.
Sixth, mind base. And what element?
My consciousness.
Hmm?
My consciousness.
Mind consciousness?
No, mind.
Mind.
Element of mind consciousness, right?
My consciousness.
Element of mind consciousness. Then the attachment itself.
Attachment.
Attachment.
For
Mental formation.
Yes,
Aggregate of mental
aggregate of mental formation, and then base,
Dhamma.
Dhamma base, yeah, and
Dhamma object.
Dhamma object element, right? Okay, can you memorize these 18 elements right now? Can you?
Yeah.
Yes, very easily,
Yeah.
right? If you remember the 5 senses in you, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, then there are corresponding objects, visible object and so on, and then corresponding types of consciousness, and the only elements you will have a little difficulty is mind and mind consciousness, right? So element of mind means the turning and accepting, and the other types of consciousness belong to element of mind consciousness. So these 18 elements you can remember quite easily. So if you can remember 18 elements, then 12 bases are nothing. Right?
Yes.
So 12 bases become 18 elements, because the one mind base is here divided into 7 consciousness elements, right? So actually, although there are 3 categories, actually they are just the same realities, the same things. So one and the same thing can be given in name according to aggregate teaching or base teaching or element teaching. Very good. So I want you to remember the Pali names also, at least the khandas, ayatanas, dhadus, at least these three terms, right?
Yeah.
Khanda, ayatana, and dhatu. So at least make yourself familiar with these three terms. Why don't you say these three words now?
Okay.
Khanda,
Khanda.
Ayatana, Dhatu. Very good. So Khanda, Ayatana, Dhatu. Right. Very good.
If you true, I may say satu.
That is at the end of the talk. Yes. So next month we'll go to Four Noble Truths, right? Yeah.